Well, welcome now to another episode here of the BCL Trash Talk podcast, and we've got amazing stuff to talk about. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Igor Curkovic. Now, Igor, you said I'm becoming almost like a Croat, so zdravo, kako se?
I'm doing fine, Josh. Let's talk about what's coming up. We've got a big star in joining the show from SIG Strasbourg. John Roberson was breaking records, and he's going to be talking to Josh.
And obviously some more news coming up. We'll be meeting with Coach Diccon Lloyd-Smeath in the film room where he has a play. They'll be focusing on Rytas Vilnius and one of my key favorites here in the Basketball Champions League, Ivan Buva.
But first of all, let's talk some BCL news.
Well, where to start? We got to go with the game of the week. Look, this game of the week was set in stone. We had the greats from Izmir, Pinar Kashiaka, Kaf. But we also had the other greats from Jerusalem, Apoel, Bank, Yahav, Yerushalayim. Igor, look, I said the panic button had to be pushed because a lot of people looked at this game and they said on paper, Izmir, Pinar Kashiaka, they were the favorites. But I thought differently. You have to understand, I watch this team play week in, week out in the Winter League. I know what they're capable of. I mean, if you look at their squad, they've got some hell of a players on their team. Willie Workman, not to mention the likes of Sean Kilpatrick. But the greatest player in that game was Reten Obasohan of the Belgian national team. The three-point shooting of this team was phenomenal. I mean, Igor, what's your take on it?
I'm a big fan of Breton, but I don't understand how he could have done that to me, because I told you that Pinar was going to win, and then of all the guys, like Breton, really? But yeah, it was a great game, and a lot of teams are going to have fun when Jerusalem are shooting 16 of 29 from deep. So, I mean, this is the time to swallow my pride and say, congratulations, Josh, I guess. You called it. Anyway.
This was a statement victory, a statement win. It was about pride. Because I keep saying this over and over again, Igor. A couple of seasons ago, Apoel were the favorites to get to the Final Four. Last season, it wasn't a good year. It wasn't a good year for them in the Israeli Winter League either. This season, some big names came in. Thom Macker, Anthony Bennett. It didn't work out the first few games. We're talking about a club that has a lot of history. They have expectations from the fans, a wonderful fan base. The panic button was pushed. Now, is this a statement victory that says Apoel is going to go on further? We will find out. But one thing for sure is they are still alive in the regular season of the Basketball Champions League.
Yeah, speaking of which, we actually had 3 other teams join the round of 16 group phase by clinching first places in their groups. We already knew that Baxi Manresa won their group, the one that we just talked about. And we had a couple of Turkish giants joining the party with Galatasaray Nef and Tofaş Bursa, both making their way all the way to the round of 16. And we also had a bit of a surprise in Group A, because Ludwigsburg completed the sweep over Tenerife and therefore made it as group winners of Group A to the round of 16. Is that a surprise for you?
Listen, they came back this season to the Basketball Champions League, and I thought it's going to take a bit of time for them to get things going. But they brought back with them Justin Simon. I don't know if you remember that play of him driving to the basket with his left hand, double clutching in the air. And as his Twitter handle says, I'm going to add something before it. That's the bottom line, because Simon says so. He goes to the basket and throws it down with zero regard for human life. I'm not surprised. This team could be on their way back to another Final Four.
I'm actually amazed of the quality of the photos. We got some amazing photographers all over the league, but especially when Tenerife play at home, I believe it's Emilio Cobos who's doing the photos, and those were just amazing, especially of the dunk. Anyway, speaking of amazing, John Roberson had something like 29.8 assists, which makes him the first man in the history of the BCL to have such numbers. Crazy, huh?
Well, let's get our umbrellas, because I'm about to go meet with the main event man who was splashing the cash, making it rain. Let's move on now to the main event with John Roberson of SIG Strasbourg. Welcome now to the BCL Trash Talk podcast main event, and I'm here with SIG Strasbourg superstar and three-point shooting machine, John Roberson. Jay, what's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming on. I got to go right to business right now. I mean, look, 6 for 8 from downtown. Take us through your daily plan. I mean, what led to such a spectacular shooting night?
Man, I was trying to figure out myself, to be honest. It's just one of those days. I think I got hot early. As a shooter, when you see the ball go in, first couple shots, you kind of, you know it's going to be maybe one of those days. So I just try to stay aggressive, stay with it. It was an important game for us. We needed the W. So I just tried to do whatever I could to help my team win. And, my job is to score and facilitate. So I was trying to do my job.
I mean, it was raining threes, but look, let's talk about the club first. I mean, look, you're a very experienced basketball player. You've played for some of the best teams so far that we've seen here in Europe. How has the transition been taking this move to Strasbourg this season?
Oh, man, it's been easy. Great organization, great city, great fans. So for me, when I got the opportunity, it was a no-brainer. I kind of signed late in the summer. So I was just waiting around for that offer, and to hear Strasbourg is interested. I didn't even have to really think about it. I know their track record in the French league. I saw what they did last year, making it to the Final Four in Champions League. So I just want to try to be part of something special, and hopefully we can make it as far as they did last year and see what we can do.
Now, obviously, last year was a very big year for SIG Strasbourg. I mean, they got to the Final Four. They came up short. Many people would have thought it was their season last year. But what has been the expectation so far for you guys this season since coming to SIG Strasbourg?
Oh, man, the expectations are high. We want to win. We feel like we have the team to do it. We're built to last. We have, like you said, we have a lot of experience. We have veteran guys on this team, great leadership. And I think, the guys who came back from last year are still hungry. They want to get back to the Final Four. The new guys that we want to have a taste of that. So there's a lot of hunger on this team. We work very hard. We got a lot of great guys on this team. A great chemistry. So I think we have what it takes.
Now, you mentioned your teammates, of course. I mean, I could go down the list of your roster. I'm looking at your roster right now. Jaromir Bohacik from Czech Republic. He's played in the Olympics. Yes. You got Ike Udano, a very versatile big man. I mean, you got Leo Cavalier, Jean-Baptiste, Tony Croak. I mean, there's so many players. But I'm going to talk about 2 of them right now. Let's start with downtown DeAndre Lansdowne. What is it like having a teammate like him?
Man, it means everything because he's our captain, man. He plays every role, like every bit of the role. He's a very positive guy. I mean, just a great teammate. Great guy to be around. And he's very knowledgeable. He's very, has a lot of wisdom. And he's a guy you can talk to. You can bounce ideas off of him. He's very knowledgeable of the game. So whenever anything happens in the game, he's ready to adjust. He's thinking on the fly. So just a great teammate, man. I'm happy to have him on the team for sure.
Another teammate I got to talk about, because this guy just seems to step up. He can beat you on the perimeter. He can beat you going to the bucket. He can get you in the paint. Matt Mitchell. I mean, come on. It's got to be great having a teammate like Matt Mitchell, right?
Oh, absolutely. And he's a rookie. Like, you wouldn't even expect he's a rookie, man. He's beyond his years. He's still growing. He still has a lot of potential. He hasn't even hit the ceiling. So, to see him progress throughout the season, is great. He came in. He didn't really have the knowledge of the European game, but he's learning on the fly. He's a great dude. He's ready to learn. So, if he just keeps the same attitude he has now, he's gonna be great.
Now, of course, we talk about your teammates. Of course, what a great squad you got. Practices must be intense. They must be competitive. Seems like a great group of guys you've got. But let's talk about the man at the hot seat, your head coach, Lassi Tuavi. I mean, what's it been like playing for him so far this season?
Oh man, it's great. He's a player's coach. There's a lot of pressure on us basketball players, on the coaching staff for sure. But he's the kind of guy that you love going into work every day because it's going to be a great environment. He keeps it light. You know, he makes it fun. So you want to go to practice. So he's great playing for him. He's intense as well, though. You know, he can get really intense, especially in the games. But he's a great motivator, pushes us, and he's the type of guy you would run through a brick wall for.
Now, you look at the opponents you've gone up against so far. You've gone up against Tofaş Bursa, Fulu Asten. You played Caleb Kramer the other night. I mean, what has been the toughest opponent that you've gone over individually so far here in the Champions League?
Oh, yeah, in the Champions League, it would have to be Tofaş, man. They gave us 2 losses. Great team, very versatile, very balanced. They have a lot of experience as well. So, you know, I think they're going to finish first in the group. You know, they're a team that can definitely compete for the title as well. So, yeah, they're a very good team.
Now, for the American basketball fans and the international basketball fans not from France, of course, you know, you've settled to life here in France. I mean, you've played in France before. You've played for some good clubs so far. But what is your daily life? You know, you get up in the morning, you go to practice. What do you do in your downtime when you're in Strasbourg?
Well, right now, it's the Christmas market in Strasbourg is really popular, man. It's one of the best events in Europe. A lot of people are traveling to Strasbourg just to see it. So I've been there a couple times just to walk around and kind of experience it. Really nice. You know, I'm kind of a homebody. I don't really get out much, especially, you know, COVID and a lot of things going on these days. So I try to stay at home. I'm a Netflix and chill type of guy. I like to watch movies and, you know, just stay off my feet when I can.
Okay, so you talk about Netflix, right? So right now, I mean, I keep going through The Last Dance so many times. I'm just watching The Untold Malice at the Palace. But if it's not basketball, well, okay, yeah. What is your go-to on Netflix right now? What are you watching?
Man, I just finished Kevin Hart. He's in a series called True Story. It's really good. Him and Wesley Snipes are in it. He playing a little different role than he usually does. It's a little bit more serious than I've seen him before, and it actually was really good series.
Brilliant. Okay, the way I want to finish this up right now, okay? I mean, you've hit 18 three-pointers so far here in the regular season. No doubt you're going to be, you know, making it rain more. I mean, the weather forecast is going to get pretty wet in Strasbourg or wherever you go. But let's just say the game is on the line. You guys need a three-pointer to take this to OT. You're down 3, but you're not in the game. Who are you putting the ball in the hands of to take that last shot on your team? Now, let's go through the list. You got Tony Croker. Okay. Yeah, you got downtown DeAndre Lansdowne. You got Matt Mitchell. I mean, this is a pretty good Jean-Baptiste Mai. He can step out. But which player are you picking to take that three-pointer for 6 Strasbourg to take it into OT?
Man, this is tough. I'm going to have to go between Dre and Tony. Between those two, I can't go wrong with either one of them guys. Like, I know I have a lot of confidence in both of them.
But you got to pick one, though. You got to pick one.
Only one.
That's how it goes. You got to pick one. 'Cause there's one basketball. There's 2 players. Only one of them's got to shoot the ball.
Somebody might step up on one, and they might have to make that extra pass.
But put yourself in Coach Tuavi's shoes. Who is he designing the play for? I mean, who do you?
To be honest, man, the way our team is built is whoever has a hot hand. So, you know, whoever has it going that game, he's gonna drop the play for them. So, you know, that's just how it is on our team. So, I mean, if I had to choose, though, I would probably choose Tony because he's a little taller. He'll be able to get a shot off, and yeah, if I had to choose, I'd probably choose Tony.
I like that because you're thinking about the team. You're thinking in the game right now. I'm thinking in the fans' perspective, who do you go to? But that's brilliant, of course, because you're identifying who's got the rhythm going. It could be you. It could be Tony. It could be DeAndre Lansdowne, but brilliant. Look, John Roberson, man, thank you so much for coming on the BCL Trash Talk podcast. Keep shooting that three-pointer, and hopefully it's going to be a good season for you guys.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, moving on now here to the film room of the BCL Trash Talk podcast, and I'm here with our host of the film room, Diccon Lloyd-Smeath. Diccon, how are you doing, my brother?
Very, very good, Josh. How are you?
Well, I'm looking forward to the BCL game of the week between Rytas Vilnius and UE Baskets Oldenburg, but I think you've got something for us from the Lithuanians, correct?
Yeah, we're headed to Vilnius. We're going to take a quick look at Rytas Vilnius. It's great to see the way they're playing this year. Sit joint top in terms of record with Žalgiris in the LKL. Won 10-1, and they're second place in their group, looking like they're in a good spot to progress. And they've got a huge game coming up against Oldenburg, which I'm sure you guys are previewing shortly. And I really want to dive into the way that Ivan Buva is affecting the way they play, and the fact that they're currently the top team in terms of scoring from the roll man. How often they hit the roll, and he's a huge part of that. So the play we're looking at is from the fourth quarter against Besiktas. And you see they use Ivan Buva in the post to create, and they run a hybrid sort of pick and roll handoff action, and Buva gets straight to the rim and does what he does best. So if we play that back again, watch carefully on the weak side as number 2 Ronde Hollis Jefferson fights through the screen. He shoots the gap, which leaves enough space. So as you see him there shooting the gap between to get over the screen, and that leaves enough space for Buva to get the catch in the post. But they're not actually looking to score out the post. They're always looking to create. We call this a post split, where they're going to run and screen away from the ball after entering the post. And then this is what we call a grenade handoff, or a mix between that and a pick and roll out of the post, which is a common trend you'll see now. It's very difficult to guard, and that's exactly why Buva gets the easy roll straight to the rim. But the last thing to pay attention to is on the weak side, Isaiah Whitehead here guarding Normantas, Rytas' best shooter. He's hesitant to come and help, and that's why he's a little late over, and that's why it's a layup right at the rim.
Now, you're saying that this offense is designed primarily not to score in the post.
Yeah, it's what we call a post split. So, traditionally you'd think about throwing it down in the low block and the big man goes to work. And you'll see that with Ivan Buva, but in this situation, it's one of the more common trends you'll see in basketball, which is using the post as a pivot to create out of. So they're throwing it in there to give him an opportunity to make a pass and create that way. And in this case, they're getting into the two-man game, so the defenders had to run off a screen off the ball and then into a pick and roll kind of handoff situation. It's very difficult to guard.
Well, we know that the bread and butter of Rytas Vilnius is Ivan Buva. Likewise, they've got Speedy Smith on the perimeter. But as you mentioned, Margiris Normantas in the corner. What a shooter he is. But going now to the BCL game of the week, in which Rytas Vilnius will take on UE Baskets Oldenburg. Who do you have winning this game, Diccon?
I think it's going to be a real tough one. Rytas at home with those fans the way they're going. I'm going to have to pick them for this one, but not with any great confidence at all.
Well, great minds think alike, because I'm about to go meet Igor to go for the Talking Heads. And I love Lithuanian basketball, just the tradition, the history. Rytas Vilnius, I've called it already. They will win this game against UE Baskets Oldenburg. Well, let's go meet Igor now for the Talking Heads. Well, you just saw Coach Diccon Lloyd-Smeath in the film room, and we were watching Rytas Vilnius. Now, coincidentally, they're in the main event this weekend, the BCL game of the week. Now, they're up against UE Baskets Oldenburg. I've said this before. I think Rytas Vilnius can actually get to a Final Four of the Basketball Champions League this season. But, Igor, you seem to think, though, that UE Baskets Oldenburg are going to win this BCL game of the week. So I'm going to give you 30. Well, first of all, is that true?
Yeah. It's not about Rytas, actually. It's more about breaking some of the numbers for Oldenburg. So I'm going to explain it to you right now.
Okay, so you got 30 seconds to explain to me why UE Baskets Oldenburg are going to win the BCL game of the week against Rytas Vilnius, starting now.
Okay, first of all, they already defeated Rytas Vilnius, so they know how to do it. Secondly, I mean, they've got a 2-8 record in the Bundesliga at the time that we're recording this, but 2-8 really isn't all that bad, and their record in the BCL isn't all that bad because they lost 6 games by a single possession, and the number of games by 2 possessions and single digits, so they were rarely blown out. It has to stop somewhere. And if they got a guy like Max Heidegger on their team, they could do it in Lithuania.
Ooh, not bad. I like that. Look, they did win the last time they met. But, Igor, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Lithuanian basketball, the history of Lithuanian basketball, and the fact that Rytas Vilnius are in the Basketball Champions League.
Please just don't.
No. The tradition, the fan base. You see the fans at the arena. But now I'm going to give you 30 seconds to tell you why that Rytas Vilnius are going to win the upcoming BCL game.
Are you gonna do it in Lithuanian?
Atsiprašau. Let's excuse me. I'm going to do this in as they would say, English. Okay, here we go. My 30 seconds will start now. I'm going to go back on the road when Rytas Vilnius went to Istanbul to play against Besiktas. They went down by 24 points. Their go-to player, Ivan Buva, one of my favorites in the Basketball Champions League. People have criticized me and said he's not that good, but this guy can deliver. He is the Croatian mailman. He will deliver. But he didn't deliver on the road against Besiktas. They were led by Morgiris Normantis. Their role players got them back in the game. When they met Besiktas the second time, they won that game. This team will win the opening game of the week of the BCL against UB Baskets Oldenburg, but I've gone 3 seconds over.
Yeah, so they lose by 3 because of the 3 seconds. Again, dude, what's with Ivan Buva? I mean, is this some kind of a bromance that's going on?
This man is a traditional post player. Okay?
I know, but I'm a
because you don't see them these days. You don't see them often. And not only that is every time Rytas Vilnius throw the ball in the low post, teams will try to double team. Just like Mirabalan when he was playing in Sassari last season. But the thing about Rytas Vilnius, they can kick the ball out. They've got shooters. They got Karianauskis. They've got Normantis. They have a very good basketball team. But the point I was trying to make on the road when they came back and still lost against Besiktas, it was the role players who brought them back. This team, it's about the synergy. The sum of the parts is greater than the sum. They have a very cohesive, great basketball team.
Okay, yeah. Also, the atmosphere against Besiktas and Burgos in both games in Vilnius was just electric. And Ivan Buva told me himself, he said that they're a much better team when they play in the bigger arena in Vilnius. But at the same time, I'm not sure if Max Heidegger is going to play for Oldenburg because he was out of the team last time they played in the Bundesliga. But if he does, this is a dude that's going to score 25 points just like that, like not even breaking a sweat. They also got a new man in Farrell, so basically this is gonna be a different Oldenburg team. And when you got a coach like Mladen Drijencic, he'll figure it out. He doesn't need to do double teams and stuff against Buva. He'll figure it out, and I think we're gonna have an upset.
Well, we will find out. It is coming up this Monday. Basketball Champions League Game of the Week. Rytas Vilnius as they take on UB Baskets Oldenburg. This is the BCL Trash Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Bett. He is the man, the myth, the legend, Igor Curkovic. Laku noć, and goodbye for now.